All right, y'all. Welcome back to another Monday morning productivity call. I'm your host, Jason Will, real estate broker of Blueprint Realty Company. Thanks for joining us. It's summertime, and we got Blake Ray, we got Chris Mallory on the call this morning. Not a whole lot to talk about today, unless somebody jumps on and starts deep diving with questions. All right, so I actually made two posts, but last week I made a post in the Blueprint collab group, and it got like so much engagement. And like I post in there almost daily, and nobody says a freaking word. And so I created a simple post in there last week that, to whom it may concern, I just got a call from TikTok, a lead call from TikTok, and it's a decent call, could turn into a really fantastic lead that wants to buy multiple vacation rental properties on Smith Lake. So posted that in the group. Before that, prior to that, I had posted this exact same post, said, hey, to whom it may concern, I just got a lead call from YouTube. That didn't get any engagement. So I don't know if nobody saw that one, but they saw the TikTok one and they started engaging. And then one of our agents commented and she said that, of course, it was almost like she thought that TikTok was just suddenly becoming viable for real estate leads because she's like, oh, LOL, just my luck. I've already just deleted mine recently. It was something like that. And then she went on to say that, she just couldn't ever figure out the algorithm. And I thought, I wonder if a lot of other agents are maybe struggling with that and just feel like they're posting, and the algorithm never rewards them. So I thought we could talk about that. And I thought we could talk about, how to actually engage with the algorithm, how to get it working for you, and what does that all look like? And the reason that's kind of an attractive topic for me is because it's so in line with everything else in real estate as it relates to defining yourself in one particular segment, one particular niche. Okay. The algorithm likes similar content. So it likes a channel that's about something. So if you go to a channel that is about one thing specifically, so it's about luxury listings, and all you're going to find on that channel is pictures or videos on luxury listings, typically you're going to see high follow, high engagement. So, that should like signify like that's how it works. It doesn't matter whether you're on TikTok or YouTube. So before I hit record, I was saying, listen, I'm in Ross Bridge every Monday. I don't really necessarily want to diversify my content, but would it hurt if I did a video every Monday of a listing in Ross Bridge? And then in 3 months' time, I had a sale between $400,000 and $700,000, something, just an example. Would somebody go, well, shit, he just started 3 months ago. He got this big ass commission check just from doing these videos once a week. Maybe I'll try to do that. Would that move the needle for anybody? Because what I just have to try to wrap my mind around is if we know that real estate is hyper local, if we know that real estate is micro and not macro, if we know that real estate is just laser focused, I'm talking in terms of the catalyst for like massive success. Well, let's think about this for a second. Why doesn't Justin Dyer? So Justin Dyer has surpassed $2 billion in sales on Smith Lake. Why doesn't Justin Dyer go, all right, I've got this whole plan, this whole strategy, this whole system. Why don't I just take it and drop it in Lake Martin where the real estate values are just about double and double dip? Why wouldn't I do that? Justin Dyer doesn't even take listings that are off the lake necessarily. So I've seen him take a few, and I think it's mostly team members that, are bringing in business, and he's just like, whatever, I won't turn away the listing, but I'm not servicing it. So that's how laser focused he is on his one thing, which is Smith Lake. So as a company, let's do some inventory here. Who among our agent roster has selected their one thing? I mean, there's a book called The One Thing. So this is very, I think, top of mind. It's very fundamental in real estate. And no matter whether we're dealing in an internet age or not, these truths are steadfast. I mean, they don't change. So, the agent back in the 70s who crushed it was an agent who was focused on one group of people in one defined area. Does that make sense? So it'd be super helpful for me since, like, listen, nobody else is on this call. I'll stop hitting record if people will start talking and being super honest. Like, I'll just trash this content right now. I won't post it, if that's what's holding you back. But Chris or Alex, have y'all given some thought as to why you haven't selected a niche, an area, haven't gotten hyper local, haven't gotten laser focused on one segment of the business? Is there something you can identify that's holding you
Well,
back?
I can tell you from my experience is, I mean, I don't know if I found a niche. Like, I just want to like hyper focus on that area. I mean, I'm kind of like,
Can,
you
can I
know,
can I pause you there just for a second? Just one
mhm.
second. All right. So this is great. So you said that you don't. So if you don't know if you found your niche, guess who doesn't know for sure?
Nobody.
Right. So continue with what you were saying, but I want you just to kind of be cognizant of that. It's like if you don't know if you've got a niche, then number
Well,
one, you don't have one, and number two, nobody else. You're not known for that. But go ahead.
well, I guess I would say, let me rephrase that. I
Yeah.
guess my niche would be working with investors and pulling comps and doing ARVs and finding out like the aftermarket repair value after you flip the home and be pretty much spot on with those and working with investors. I guess I like doing that. So I guess that would be my niche. But like as far as like picking a particular area, it's kind of harder to do that with investors than like single family buyers, traditional buyers, because like a traditional buyers, you're gonna have people who come to Alabaster. So you can say that I'm only gonna work in Alabaster. But if I was to say that working with investors is kind of like shooting myself in the foot, is like there's only so many investor homes in Birmingham, and I don't work with investors who are doing the Burr method, who are doing like just rentals. I'm working with investors who are flipping because it's just more feasible for me to work with those investors because I get more money, obviously. So that's why like I kind of work in like the Jefferson, Shelby County area, and then I don't turn deals down. Like if someone wanted to list their house, in Pleasant Grove, or I just went there Sunday. I sold a house in Pleasant Grove. I'm not going to turn them down because I live all the way in Alabaster in Shelby County. I can pull comps. I know the market over there. I can do my research. I might not be the market guru in Pleasant Grove, but I mean, I can do my job and I can find it.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So let's kind of dissect this one little segment at a time. So, question, Chris, does working with investors fulfill you? Like, is it exciting?
It
It
is.
pays
It
it.
is.
Okay.
It
All
is.
right.
It is like going like this morning. I went into, a hoarder's house, and I took videos. I like looking around, like seeing what. Okay, if we did this, we opened this wall out. If we took this wall away, if we went this way with it, we can bring this house value up to here. Or we don't have to do all that. You could rent it out for, put this much money in and just clean it up and make it livable and rent it out. I like doing that.
Did you do those two videos? Those two
Uh,
educational videos? Or can you do those? Are you willing to go back and do those two videos?
Yeah, I got videos of the house and stuff.
All right. Well, so let's go over some things that are really, really important based on some things that you've said. There are a couple different perspectives on this. Okay. So Chris could be the alabaster market expert and he could just focus on alabaster and have the goal of being like Mr. Alabama real estate agent. Okay. But he can also, a niche can be that, but a niche can also be investors. And so when your niche is investors or your niche is new construction, you don't have to be so pigeonholed. All right. But what Chris was saying there also is a like a false narrative or false belief that if something happens outside your marketplace, if he was to be Mr. Alabaster, he still would get business elsewhere and would still take listings elsewhere. Alabaster would just be the primary place that he does business. So, I've always thought that the if he liked working with investors. I mean, working with investors is definitely what got Chris out of, part-time real estate into full-time real estate. And if you like it, and the fact that you have mentioned something that may be a superpower. So one of the things that's really important in this endeavor is to identify things that you are good at, that maybe you are a little bit better at than the average real estate agent. And I know if your ARVs are spot on, then that should be incorporated. Like there should be a video that shows either, how close or how far you were on the ARV every single time you do one. There should be content around that every single time. Okay. So it sounds like maybe the biggest thing for you is maybe a couple things. It may be being the star of the show, right? In your videos, being a character, being a personality, being somebody that wants to be identified as this person. So getting like stepping into the spotlight may be a problem, but it also may be understanding that educational content is huge and just telling people like this is what you could do with it.
I
All
don't
right.
know what
These are
that
the
means.
options that are at your disposal.
I mean,
So
I do have a like a complexity of getting on the camera, like showing my face on the camera. That's why I really, if you, I mean, you can look at all my videos on TikTok and everything. I really don't do like with my like me as a star.
okay. So here's a fact that you would need to make peace with, okay? Is that people want to follow people more than they want to follow the houses. So that's a fact, right? They want to be able to make a connection, and you're not going to be able to get the benefit out of it if people aren't connecting you. If they can't put your face with your name, then you're not getting out of it what you're putting into it. And that's, terrible. But the good news is it is something that you could actively work on to repair. And then when your phone just starts ringing from not only active investors, but I've been saying this for years. There's way more investors, like wannabe investors, than there are investors. So there's so many people that want to invest in real estate. They just don't have time. They have full-time jobs, they have kids, they have extracurricular activities. Some of them have got parents that are aging, somebody's sick in their family, something's going on. They got a kid with Down syndrome. Who knows? They've got something and they just can't find the time to look up from all the distractions of life and go, all right, this is how you invest in real estate and build a portfolio. All right. So a subtle little tweak, I would devise like everything that I do in terms of planning for the week is planning around the content itself. Okay. And I think we need some sort of incentive here. And so what I was trying to incentivize with those Facebook posts about, hey, to whom it may concern, I got a lead call this week from YouTube. I got a lead call last week from TikTok, is that the act of reverse prospecting is so attractive in real estate to have people reach out to you instead of you reaching out to them.
It does feel good. It does feel good.
So if that was happening so often that, you would literally schedule maybe like I schedule like 1 or 2 days a week where I'm following up with people. I should be probably doing that more often, but I have people reaching out to me, keeping me busy from the content I'm posting. And so have got here recently, I don't know if anybody remembers this or heard this, But from posting lake properties, I had somebody send me a Lake Martin. I haven't created any content about Lake Martin, but probably a month ago, I got a referral from a buyer in the 400 to $500,000 range on Lake Martin from an agent in on the Alabama Gulf Coast, on the coast of this state. Said, "Hey, I see you do lake stuff. I got a lake referral. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Oh, hell yeah." So that kind of stuff happens. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, just we need some, sparks to kind of happen, some things to ignite, some a catalyst to get going and go, man, this is awesome. So, and then you just get into a groove. I do feel like office hours are beneficial. They are a necessity, really, but you really need to be out of the office. Okay. So, Chris, you could be evaluating other people's rental investments and flips. Like for instance, that property in Norwood that the agents were taking so long to finish and were over budget. Like you could have just set up a tripod, not even in front of that listing, but 100 yards away. It could be, from your listing and just pointing at the one behind you and going, "Hey, we're here at mine. Let me tell you about this one over here," and give you kind of my 2 cents on why that's a problem. They bought it too high, they're putting too much money into it, whatever the case may be, or why this is a better flip, or this is a better hold, or this is a better hold for long term, this is a better hold for short term rental, just all about it, right? But you could be evaluating areas, you could be evaluating specific properties. You don't want to give away anything proprietary, but other than that, I would just be going through all the aspects of it. So also interviewing people, interviewing, Carlos, interviewing other people that you use for information, asking everybody you can to do an interview. And interviews are a great way to build relationships, but also take some of the pressure off of you when you're recording this content. So, the pressure for the information and to sound good and to sound intelligent is all on the other person. It's not really on you. And you can go to Chat GPT and go, "Hey, I need some help coming up with interview questions for so and so who does this in Birmingham, Alabama. What would be some really great questions to ask him that my audience, this specific target audience, would really be plugged into the answers. Like they would really be paying hard attention to the answers that were given in this interview." And ChatGPT will come up with all the questions for you. You copy and paste that, send it to the person you want to have on and go, "Hey, here's some, kind of a sample outline of the interview with questions. We can modify or eliminate any of these questions as you see fit. But, we do need some sort of a structure for the interview so that we get the best result possible." Cranking it out. So your whole week is designed let's think about this. When you start out, this may be a painful question to ask because you may not be doing any kind of weekly planning. But if you start out on a Sunday night or a Monday morning, you're like, "All right, what are my initiatives for this week?" If content creation is not in the mix, we got a big problem. Okay. And then people need to see you in front of the camera in some way, shape, or form. There's a lot of ways to make baby steps in that regard. So you can just put your picture with your information, in the intro. So a picture you can pop up, say this is a, informative real estate video, real estate investor video by Chris Mallory with Blueprint Realty Company. And then there's your face. You could do voiceover behind the camera, do voiceover. Does anybody, this is real quick, it's kind of off topic, but does anybody have the old iPhone that doesn't use the flat? Who's got like an iPhone that uses the old school charger?
I have Android. Blake doesn't
He
have an
just he
iPhone
just
like
got a
that.
new phone. Anyway, I just have some mics. I upgraded to a 16 Pro, so I'm using the different.
Well, I got a mic. My wife gave me a mic for Christmas or something, and that was the whole point of that was to be intended so I can get my face on the camera more and everything. I haven't used it yet because I'm kind of
Well,
shy about that. But
just think
I
about
need to. I
this.
need to put that.
The first thing you need to accept is everybody is shy in the beginning. Everybody is adverse to this in the beginning. Okay, so that's just a given. So it's not out of the ordinary, or even it's just totally normal to be a little apprehensive about this. The other thing is just to keep it very, very simple and go, all right, well, I don't have to jump in front of the camera to start. I can have my picture pop up at some point, the beginning of the end of the video. I probably do both. With like, hey, if this video has been valuable, I'd love to hear from you. If you're interested in investing in, Greater Birmingham real estate, love to help you. Here's my information, call or text. And then maybe you graduate to doing that and providing voiceover. And then you graduate from that to doing some interviews. Maybe you just try some interviews with some local folks. Like Chris, I would reach out to Matthew Gregory. Like who are the big flippers in town? Let's get interviews with all those people. You think about this. You reach out to Matthew Gregory. You say, hey, I'm starting a real estate investment YouTube channel. Would love to have you on as a guest, and we can meet at one of your latest flips and promote it. Whatever you want to do, whatever. How can I help you? Because this could be a way for him to. Is motivated to do this, right? Because he gets most of his leads from realtors, and then he rewards these realtors by letting them list the house. You bring me business, you bring me a potential flip, and then I'm gonna turn around and let you list it. So there's so many agents getting in and out of the business. He needs to kind of be communicating this out as often as possible. So there's either a property he wants to promote, or he wants to let realtors know how he generates a lot. I would think the bulk of his leads, and how he rewards agents that reward him, that help drive his business. You create a YouTube interview with the two of you, and then you've got a bunch of little bitty clips that you can chop up to put on Instagram Reels and TikToks and YouTube Shorts and all the things. You've just got tons and tons of content that just builds up this backlog of content to where you don't have to, exhaust yourself on what you're going to actually create. You're going to go, man, I've got so much great content. I just don't know what to post next. And that's a great place to be in. Okay. So we started out this call by just I've been trying to hammer this home for a long, long time now. And when I got that question about the algorithm, I was like, well, damn, that's a perfect segue for what we're trying to do here. Now, Chris has found his. He needs to let everybody know this is his specialty. So everywhere I could go, every social media platform where there's a bio, I should be able to read in there that it's a real estate investment specialist. And then you could have a tagline, which is helping people build wealth through real estate, something like that. That needs to be everywhere. And then there are short clips, posts, all kind of things to support that narrative, that self-described specialization. There's proof to back it up in content. I see Chris out there evaluating, like, why there's probably several properties y'all pass on. Why do you pass on those? Like, what are the top 5 qualities of a home that usually gets a yes from your investor? Be thinking about all these different things. The other thing too is think about all the questions you have asked as an agent in this real estate investment world. Think about all the questions you have asked. Think about all the questions you get asked. Just think about all the questions out. Go online, go to ChatGPT and go, what are the most frequently asked questions from people that are either active real estate investors, or want to invest in real estate. So the other point of this is that I hope you're hearing it, is that the AI conversation in real estate is getting freaking loud. And the way that this benefits us is that it is a way to leverage. The industry as a whole is reporting a 10%. So that's not huge, but depending on the amount of business you do, it could be. If I'm Justin Dyer and I'm doing $2 billion, I've already done $2 billion in sales in real estate, and I could use AI to grow my business by 10%, I probably would invest in AI to grow my business by 10%. That number is just going to keep growing and growing and growing. But people are using this to streamline everything, that a lot of the stuff that made it hard. Blake Ray himself has said many times that the main reason he's not consistent or wasn't consistent on social media is because he just didn't, he had trouble with the words. It wasn't the content, it was the description of the video. It was the language around the video. And then he started using ChatGPT, and now he's like, ah, that's out the window. It's doing it for me. So now I can be consistent. So, Chris, what you could do is make a commitment when you're ready to say, I'm going to just go all in on this for 30 days. You can call or text me anytime you want to pick my brain on topics, ideas. You can send me a video, go, hey, watch this. It makes me cringe when I watch it. What do you think about it? Am I on the right track? I'll just tell you, like, hey, don't post that, dude. Or get over yourself and post that, dude. So this is how we can work together on an ongoing basis to really grow your business. So just imagine for a second if we had an office where there was more than one agent that was seeking to be identifiable for a specific skill, a specific, very specific market knowledge on a very specific segment of the market. So if I'm doing like, I don't even know. Like I do some research and see like how accurate are ARVs in Alabama. Most of the agents producing ARVs, like how accurate are they? And if they're 70% or 60%, and Chris is at 85% or higher, holy shit. Boy, I mean, I want everybody to know that. And and you got to continually say it so that you can sell it. Right? So and I just got to be real with y'all right now. So I'm not, you can go in my office on my productivity board and see that I'm not necessarily crushing it with lake sales one after the other after the other. What I'm doing is I'm laying the foundation to do so. And I want to get some of y'all to come along with me on this journey. And I want you to find something that you want to do because it's so awesome. So just think how much more, Chris, you would probably be fired up about developing your identity, like being very well known in the greater Birmingham area as a go to agent if you're looking to invest in real estate, whether that's flips, holds, whatever. You're the guy, or you're one of the guys. You're one of the top 5 guys. If you're one of the top 5 guys, then you're going to have money to start doing your own flips and your own investments. Or you're going to have money to where some stress that y'all are experiencing as a family goes away. Some financial stress y'all are experiencing as a family goes away. Or let's say, this is a hypothetical, your daughter wants to take horse riding lessons. You're like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, you know how much that costs? To where your response is like, yeah, let's go do that. I got the money to go do that. And that just feels real good, makes your wife real happy, makes everybody super proud, and the quality of your life just it improves exponentially. It's just going to fan the flames. All right. But the other thing that's really important to me is if I'm doing it, Chris is doing it, then Alex goes, shit, man, why the fuck am I not doing it? They're doing it. I need to do it. I got to do this. Think about all the people who week after week after week when we're on these calls, just don't do it. And I want you to do it because there's like on the other side of this is so much benefit. One of the simplest ones and basic ones for me is that you have actually found something in real estate that is actually rewarding to you. You get so much benefit out of this. Like it could be a competitive thing just among yourself. Like, I want to see how close I can get to nailing these ARVs. I want to keep honing that skill to where I'm like the best, or not. If I'm not the best, I'm one of the best in Birmingham. And that's when people are going to start reaching out to you. They're going to start seeking you out, like proactively seeking you out because you are the guy in this area. All right. So I've loved waterfront properties ever since I got into real estate. And so now I'm focused on that, and it really does not feel like work. The last call we had, I talked about how that's kind of the secret sauce of real estate is to realize that the work is the life and the life is the work. This is a profession where those two things are so intermingled. Once you not only accept it, but embrace it, boom, your whole world changes. So you change your narrative from I've got to I get to. And that's just organically going to happen when you start investing in a market specialization, when you start investing into developing notoriety based on skill, knowledge, etc. It feels good, y'all, to make money. It feels even better to make money doing something that excites you. So, this is a strategy by which we can get out of the rat race of real estate. We can get out of the burnout. We can stop chasing our tail and start having people chase us for a specific set of skills, a specific knowledge set that we have that is kind of above the rest. All right, now it's time to kind of wrap this up. But the opportunity here to close out this call is just to talk about how we can improve our quality of life by becoming well known for one specific skill or a set of specific skills or information like expertise in one specific area. And I've talked about how if you look around at like restaurants, anything anything that people offer as a product or a service, they're typically honing in on one specific thing. Like this is what we're most known for. This I say this all the time. This is why Alexander Shinaris has accident personal injury law as his primary thing. That's not the only thing he's he does. And actually, if you look now, I've seen him start to branch out some kind of different aspect of law, but that's after years and years or a decade of saying, hey, I'm the personal injury guy. So once he's established that's his primary skill, then he can branch out to other things. I see insurance people going, hey, come to me for your motorcycle insurance. Come to me for your boat insurance. Does that mean all they want to get is the boat insurance? They don't want to get the homeowners? No,
I
they
just
just
thought of some good content for that. What you were just saying, I just thought of some really good content. Like, and a lot of realtors like don't want to go into these houses, quarter houses. I don't want to go in there. You know, I'm your guy. I'll go in there. Use me. We'll find a house. I'm not going to be afraid to go inside, look around, get in the basement, take a flashlight, look around.
it's
Where
the other thing too. People are so interested in that. It's just like let's start creating some content and testing the views. Let's see how the algorithm reacts. But the other thing is like you AI cannot do what you're doing. A computer cannot do what you're doing. You see a ton of people. There's a ton there like it's vitriol. It's haterade. People despise real estate because most of us are do nothings. But a lot of these people that despise us think, oh, you guys are going to be obsolete in the very near future. AI is coming. You guys are toast. They just think we don't do anything. And rolling up your sleeves and crawling into a house that has no power, no lights, and is stacked from the floor to the ceiling with shit, AI can't do that. All right, I'll let you go. Chris, reach out to me if you need me. Good call. See you guys soon and next week for sure.